Morning, students. So this class we have discussed classes and object. So what is the concept of OOP, object-oriented programming? The object-oriented programming concepts are classes, object, data abstraction, data encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. Okay. So what is a class? A class is a user-defined data type which hold both data and function. So a class is a user-defined data type which hold both data and function. The internal data of a class is called member or data member, and the functions are called the member functions. So internal data are called the data member or data, and the functions are called the member function or methods. Okay. The member functions mostly manipulate the internal data of the class. So what is a class? Then object. The variable of the classes are called the objects or instance of a class. So the variable of a class or instance of a class is called object. Then data abstraction. In object-oriented programming, the data abstraction is defined as a collection of data and methods. It is the collection of data members and member functions, methods. Then data hiding. Next principle, data hiding. So in C++, the class construct allow to declare the data and method as a private, public, and protected category. The implementation details of the class can be hidden. So this is done by the data hiding principle. That is, the data members or the methods can be grouped into private, public, or protected. And this implementation can be hidden. So what is called a data hiding. Then data encapsulation. That one is a data encapsulation. The internal data of a class are first separated from the outside world, that is out of the class. They are then put along with a member function in a capsule. So what is called data encapsulation. Then inheritance. The C++ allows a programmer to build hierarchy of a classes. The derivation of the class is used for building hierarchy. The basic features of the classes, that is the parent class, base class, can be passed into derived class or child class. So what is called a inheritance? That is the heredity, like that. Parent class, child class, then again the child may have another child, like that. And then the polymorphism. In OOP, the polymorphism is defined as how to carry out different processing steps by a functions having the same message. The polymorphism treat object-related classes in a generic manner. Okay, so let us see this polymorphism and the encapsulation in separate units. Okay, now we have discussed the classes and objects. Before that, we have to see what are the difference between the procedure-oriented language and object-oriented language. So normally C is a procedural oriented language, and C++ is a object oriented language. Okay. In procedural oriented, the program is divided into small parts called the functions. Okay, we have used many functions. Whereas in the object oriented programming, the program is divided into parts called objects. Then in the program procedural oriented language does not have any proper way for hiding the data. Whereas here we use the data hiding concept to secure the data. So the example of the procedural oriented languages are C, VB, Fortran, like that. Here C++, Java, then .NET, etc. Now let us see how to define a class. A class is a user-defined type which hold both data and functions. So this is the general syntax for defining a class. So first, class is a keyword, and then the name of the class that is defined by the user. The class name is defined by the user. The user can define any name. Then there are three kind of categories: private, public, and protected. Okay. So what is the use of the private? So in private section, a data member can only be accessed by the member function or the friend of this class. So once we define the data member in the private means, it can be accessed only by its class member functions, or the friend of this class, and not by any other. That is the outside world, we cannot access the data member. Then protected category. Here the data members which are defined in the protected category can be accessed by the member function and the friend of the function, or the derived functions, member functions. That is a class is derived from other classes means the derived class member can also be accessed the protected member and not accessed by outside world. Then public category. So the members which are declared in the public section can be accessed by any functions in the outside world. Okay, that is, once we define in the public means there is no data hiding principle. So anybody can access these data members. So what is called a protected. Normally we are using the private and public category. The protected category we used only in the inheritance and polymorphism that we see later. Then, so here example. So the class keyword is a class. Then sample, I am defining sample as the class name. Then under private category, I have defined two variables. So this is now here we called this is data member, not variables. Okay, X, Y, whose type is int. Then under public, various member functions are defined along with its data type. Okay, so get data is one of the data type defined by the user, whose return type is a void. Sum is another member function or method whose return type is int, and a display is another member function whose return type is a void. So here I am defining two data members and three member functions or methods. Okay, so this is the defining. So this is the general syntax, and then this is the example for defining a declaring a class. Okay, then next one is here So member functions. So these are the member functions. What is a member function? A function declared as a member of a class is called the member function. So a member function can be defined with inside the class, that is the inside scope or outside scope. So two way we can define the member function. One is here inside and another one is here outside. Okay. Let us see what is the inside. Okay. So here we take the same example. So int xy, enter x and y values. Okay. Then we read x comma y, and then the member function first. One member function I will define sum. So int z, z is a local variable. Here z equal to x plus y. So see how the sum of x and y equal to sum is, so not sum, this z. Okay. So this is the defining inside. That means within the class. The class is terminated with a semicolon. Okay. So here the class starts and here the class ends. Then here we define all the member functions within the class itself. Okay. So get data. Here we read the value x and y, and another member function sum, which is used to find the sum of the two values, and then we print that one. Okay. So this is inside. Then outside its scope. Member functions, defining the member function outside its scope. Its general syntax is return type, then name of the class, then we use a special operator. This operator is called a scope resolution operator. A very important operator, scope resolution operator. After that, the member function, then if the member function has any argument, then we have to specify the arguments separated by commas. Okay. Now, let us see one same example here. So I am defining class. The class name is a sample private, under two data members are declared. In public, two member functions are declared. Only the member functions are declared. Okay. Then here the class ends. Then outside the class. So first return type. So general syntax is here return type. So here return type is here void. Then name of the class, that is a class name, sample, then scope resolution operator, and then the function name, member function name. Okay. Here the same way I am displaying message enter x and y values. Here I am reading x and y. Okay. So this member function ends here. Then what is another member function? Another member function is a sum. The definition here. So the return type is a integer. Name of the function is a sample. Then scope resolution operator. Then member function name is a sum. Here I am defining a local variable z. Z equal to x plus y. Then sum of x and y is not sum. Yeah, z. Okay. So this is the defining outside. Okay. So outside means out of class, outside scope. Inside means inside. So this here the class ends. So the functions are The member functions are within the class. So this is the defining member functions inside or outside. So normally it is better practice to define the member function outside scope. Okay. Then once we declared and define the member functions of the class, then these member functions and the data members can be accessed by the object. Okay. So that we have to define the object of a class. So the object of a class defined as follows. The general syntax is class name, object 1, object 2, etc., object n. Okay. Here the class name is a name of the class, and we can define any number of object by comma. Okay. Now example. So what is the class name? Here the class name is a sample. Here I am using obj. This is a user defined. You can define anything. You can suppose that sample A. You can define A. That means A is the object. Here for my convenience I am using obj. And accessing a member of a class. How to access the member of the class? The general syntax is object name dot data member, then like that object name dot member functions. So example, suppose that I want to access X, then object dot X. I want to access Y, then object dot Y. And then data member functions. Okay, like that object dot member function, get data. Then object dot display, object dot sum. Like that we can access the data member and member functions. Okay, let us see one simple example how to execute this one. Right. See that. So the class sample, name of the class is a sample. So under private, I am defining X and Y as an int. So under public, I have defined two member functions. One is a get data whose return type is a void, then sum whose return type is a int, then class terminates here, ends here. Then the functions are defined outside scope. Okay. Therefore, void, that is the return type, then class name sample, then scope resolution operator, then member function name get data. Here enter X and Y values. So I am reading two values. Then another, so this function ends here. So the next member function is here sum whose return type is a int. Therefore int, then class name is here sample, scope resolution operator, then member function name is here sum. So here I am defining another variable z. So z equal to X plus Y. Then here I am printing sum of X plus Y equal to message. After that the value of z is printed here. Then return, since it is an integer function, so I am returning 0. And the next we come to main function. So into main, here object should be declared. Okay, then so class name is a sample, then I am defining obj as an object. Then after that, in order to access the member functions by using the object dot get data, object dot sum. Okay, same, just that's all. So the main should be only accessing the objects. So remainings are in the definition part of the member classes, member function of the classes. Let us execute this one. Now, here enter x and y values. So 10, 15. The sum of x and y equal to 25. Right? So this concept is called the object-oriented programming. Okay, write a C++ program. Whereas here, if the question asks, write a object-oriented program in C++. That means you have to write the program like this. Okay, so previously we have seen many programs without using the object. Okay, hereafter we have to use only the object-oriented programming concept. Okay, let us execute another data. Suppose 100 is one value, then 200 is another value. So the sum of x and y equal to 300. Okay. So this is the OOP concept. Under OOP concept, first we declare the class. Okay. So this is the declaration of a class. Under the class, inside the class, we use private and public category. Under private category, we define the data members. Under public category, we define the member functions. Okay, and then the class is terminated with a semicolon. Once the class is declared, then we define the member functions. Here, we define the member functions. Okay, the return type, class name, and then member function name. Then statement belongs to these member functions. Okay, like that. Another member function statement belongs to this member function. Then we come to the main part. Under main part, first we declare the object by using the class name. After that, using that object, we can access the member functions or the data members. Okay. So let us see. Let me see the other object-oriented program concepts in next class.